Madrid, a legend is no longer just being built. It is being born. Being good is no longer enough. You have sworn to become the greatest goal scorer the world has ever seen. Each season, you demand more from yourself than the last. 53 goals in 2010, 60 in 2011, 50 in 2012. The numbers grow at a staggering pace, yet the hunger burning inside you never fades. Because deep in your soul, there are still things to prove, still dreams that have not yet come true. 2012 to 2013, the night of the Ballon d'Or, and the spotlight moves away from you. The trophy rests in the hands of your rival, Messi. You stand second. The newspapers sharpen their pens. Ronaldo will never be as great as Messi. You read those words. You carve every single letter into your mind, but you do not respond. You simply work. And when the world sleeps, you return to that training pitch, to that silence, to that solitude. And the answer does not take long. The second Ballon d'Or in 2013, the third in 2014. To every voice that said you couldn't, to every headline that tried to shrink you, you respond on the pitch, quietly, but with a force that shakes the ground beneath them. Your language is not made of words. Your language is built from thunderous strikes that tear apart goalkeepers, from an unstoppable will that refuses to stop. Your language knows only one word: goal. Yet even inside your enormous collection of trophies, one space remains empty: Portugal. Every European championship, every World Cup in the national jersey ends the same way, in heartbreak, too early before the finish line. And the voices rise again, echoing through the corridors of stadiums. Ronaldo is selfish. He can never be a leader. He cannot carry a team. This is the most painful, most poisonous criticism you have ever heard. Because deep in the core of your being, you know it is a lie. But you haven't yet proven it to the world. That proof is not yet in your hands. The year is 2014, the blazing heat of Brazil, the World Cup. Portugal collapses in the group stage, and as you walk off the pitch with your head low, cameras close in on that famous face, the profile millions have admired. But in that moment, something is entirely different in your expression. This is not just fatigue. This is not the grief of a single defeat. This is the sound of something cracking inside a giant. This is the face of a shattered dream. Perhaps you too have lived a moment exactly like this one. A moment where you gave everything, where you laid your soul bare, and it still wasn't enough. In life, there is nothing that cuts deeper than fighting with everything you have, sacrificing all you possess, and still being unable to break through that wall, to fall short, to be so close to the target, and yet realize you are still miles away. The year is 2015. Madrid's magnificent stadium roars with your name once more. Goal number 230. The legendary Raúl's record is retired to the dusty shelves of history, and you are crowned Real Madrid's greatest scorer of all time. Tens of thousands bow before you. The world of football lies at your feet, but in the middle of that roaring crowd, a hollow space still gnaws at you from the inside. Something is missing. Something refuses to shine. That missing piece has a name: Portugal. You may hold 5 Ballon d'Or awards in your hands and Champions League trophies on your shelf, but you have not yet given the land where you were born the greatest gift of all. That small island in the middle of the ocean raised you, and you have not yet lifted your country to the very top. Until you raise the Portuguese flag to its highest point, no success will ever feel complete. Your soul burns for that missing piece. Then the calendar turns to 2016. The European Championship, hosted in France. Portugal claws and fights its way to the final. Standing across from you is a towering opponent, the host nation, France. Everyone sees them as favorites. Everyone whispers that you will return home empty-handed once more. But as you step onto the grass of the Stade de France, you know it deep in your bones. This is the biggest stage of your life, now or never. The 8th minute of the match. Dimitri Payet's brutal challenge sends a lightning bolt through your left knee. The pain spreads through your veins like venom. You try to play on. You clench your teeth. Through tears and a limp, you resist for 10 more minutes. As if you are daring your own fate. But then, you crumple to the ground once more. This time, even that iron will of yours is not enough. You cannot get up. The world holds its breath. and that boy from the middle of the ocean is alone again. As they carry you off that sacred pitch on a stretcher, the Stade de France falls into a deep silence. The world watches a giant fall. Your teammates stare at you, fear and helplessness in their eyes. And you, who spent your entire life preparing for this moment, are reduced to a spectator at the very second your team needs you most. You feel your dream being carried away from you on that stretcher. But that night, something happens that football has never seen before. Your left knee is wrapped in bandages. Every step brings pain, yet you refuse treatment. You are right there beside your manager, at the very front of the technical area, limping along the touchline like a commander. You scream with everything left in your lungs at every single play. Keep going. Believe. While your teammates sweat and bleed on the pitch, they feel more than just your voice. They feel your spirit. That relentless, unbreakable fire that refuses to go out. You are no longer just a player. You are the flame that keeps all 11 of them burning. In minute 109, the moment time itself stops. Eder strikes the ball, and the fate of all of Portugal travels with it into the net, 1-0. The Stade de France erupts, and you have already forgotten the pain in your knee. Tears stream down your face as you release a cry toward the sky. This is not just a goal celebration. This is the explosion of years without a father, of a poor child from Madeira who clawed his way to the top with bare hands while the whole world told him he couldn't. This is the single greatest cry a lifetime could ever hold. And then, the final whistle. The skies above the Stade de France shake with Portuguese screams. Your teammates rush toward you like soldiers rallying around their commander. You take that trophy in your hands, limping, face soaked in tears. You lift it as the champion of Europe. And in that moment, inside that body, there is not only a global superstar, there is that small boy from Madeira whose mother once said he dreamed too much, standing at the very center of his dreams. But victory never gives you rest. Victory only makes you hungrier, because even when you've won everything, that voice inside you never goes quiet. More. There is always more. When you announced your departure from Real Madrid in the summer of 2018, the Santiago Bernabeu echoed with your name one last time. But this time, it sounded different. This time it was a farewell. 9 years, 4 Champions League titles, 2 La Liga championships, 450 goals. You leaned into the microphone and said simply, "Thank you." Just 2 words. But those 2 words carried the weight of a lifetime. Juventus. A new chapter opens beneath the grey skies of Turin. 117 million euros, the most expensive transfer in football history at that time. Italy's most storied club breaks every record just to bring you in. But if you ask yourself why, it was never about the money. It was about the challenge, because you always chose the hardest path. There was always something left to prove. And now the challenge was clear. Conquer Italy. When you take your first steps in a Juventus shirt, Serie A's formidable defensive walls are waiting for you. But you tear those walls down too. 28 goals in your first season, 37 in your second, even through the pandemic, even inside the hollow silence of empty stadiums. Your level never drops. You run with the same intensity when no one is watching. You strike with the same hunger when the stands are bare. Scoring in a stadium without a single fan, walking back to your position without anyone to celebrate with. In that moment, you understand something again. You never played this game for the applause. You played it for yourself. But something remains unfinished at Juventus, the Champions League. That trophy never finds its way to Turin. Quarterfinals, semifinals, each time a wall appears one step too soon. And that old question returns, sharper than ever. Would the game look the same without Ronaldo? The answer burns inside you like an ember. But not yet. The time is not yet right. 2021. Manchester. That city. That rain. That red shirt. The boy from 20 years ago is now 36, walking the same corridors once more. Old Trafford wants you back, and you return. Because some stories cannot be left unfinished. 2 goals on your first appearance back, the crowd goes wild. For one night, the city returns to 2003. But football does not allow nostalgia for long. The squad changes, the system changes, generations change. You are the oldest player on the pitch. I'm Mats, and sometimes the most misunderstood. When the Erik ten Hag era begins, the atmosphere grows heavy. The system is not built around you. You are expected to fit into it. On the evening you are dropped to the bench for refusing a manager's instructions, you walk out of the dressing room with your shoulders just a little lower. In an interview, you say, "I felt wrong about many things." The press tears that sentence apart, turning every word into a different headline. But you are used to this, used to being misread, used to the silence and the relentless noise. December 2022. Your departure from Manchester United is made official. And this time, the goodbye feels different. When you left Real Madrid, the stands wept. Now there is only silence. A formal statement. A few lines of text. More than 2 decades of history, reduced to a cold press release. No one knows what you were thinking that night, walking through the dark streets of Manchester. Maybe even you didn't know. Then, the desert, Al Nasser, the scorching sun of Riyadh, and the most unexpected stage in the world. Everyone laughed at first. Everyone wrote, "The career is over," but you just smiled, because you had always smiled at exactly this: the doubt, the dismissal, the "it's finished" headlines. And what did you do in Saudi Arabia? 54 goals in your first season, 35 more the next. At 38, at 39, opponents half your age trying to stop you, and still you run. Still you score. Still you hunger. Today, as the evening sun over Riyadh stretches long shadows across the Al Nasser pitch, you step off the warm-up and pause for just a moment. The narrow streets of Madeira, your mother's tired hands, the years without your father, every voice that ever said, "You won't make it." They are all here, with you, on this grass. A child in the stands is looking at you, eyes full of light, just like that boy who used to stare at the walls of Sporting Lisbon, dreaming. You catch that gaze, and you understand. It was never about the numbers, it was never about the trophies. It was this: still being on the pitch, still running, still believing. That was everything. We'll continue our Messi story next week. Until then, take care, and see you soon.